general comments, Kevin, on what you're seeing in your industry, what you're hearing anecdotally from your members in the food processing sector about AI, even generally, if you like, but also particularly Gen AI and what you're hearing from the ground.
Yeah, so there's certainly a lot of interest in it, and what I've been hearing a lot more is that there's more interest in the AI machine learning space than in the Gen AI space, because a lot of the challenges that employers are looking for, where they're trying to get, I think part of it's a bit just about tangible productivity gains. If they're able to say, oh, if I can fit, 8 more products in a box because I've optimized that with AI, I know how to quantify that, as opposed to saying my accountant has 4 more hours in the day. And so there's some of that but it's just, those are the areas where I've heard a lot more discussion. We had a conference earlier this year in March where we did sort of a workshop on generative AI and sort of demystifying it in a way, and to walk people through some examples, how to use it, and a little bit of prompt engineering. And people were really interested, and they're like, okay, I can now see how I might start to use this. And so part of it is that people are just trying to see, they don't know what's going on. But our industry is very similar to the Canadian economy, as you're describing, with the size of employers. One of the surveys that we've done, we found that it's about 50% of all food and beverage manufacturers don't have a dedicated HR person or department. And so for even things like, I'm hiring a new person, how do I develop a training plan? Just being able to get that initial output that they can augment or that they can modify to fit their own particular training needs. That was one of the examples we did at the conference, where we were able to generate a 12-point training plan. I think 9 of the 12 points that people at my small group felt were usable. But it took like 20 seconds.
Yep.
And we had this to discuss. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity there, but there's a lot of sort of unease and lack of knowledge when you have small business owners or operators that are wearing 8 different hats, trying to understand how they can use a tool when they don't have the time to figure out how to use it, is really a barrier for people.
Absolutely. And I think you would have noticed in one of the slides, but that is actually the number one barrier to why it's not at least formally being adopted, but we are seeing, again, employees doing it kind of on their own. So we are certainly suggesting that small businesses at least maybe have a simple statement of, what is allowed or not allowed within their organization. And we're starting to pull together examples of that as well for small businesses, because again, there are those risks with IP and other related confidential information being put into some of the models. But yeah, that is one of the biggest challenges with especially the generative AI adoption. And I can certainly understand, like, the ability to quantify a return on investment and so on, obviously is easier, like you said, if you can pack an extra product or 2 in a box, or ship more effectively, whatever the case may be, becomes quantifiable. But that is one of the issues that is holding people up.